back to my channel. I am so excited to have you here as always. So I hope you got on amazingly well with last week's technique. I do know that a lot of people really loved it. I personally really enjoyed the technique when I was knitting it, and I think you can go so much more further than what I've just shown you. So as with any knitting demos that I do for you, just remember that you can make little changes along the way to get a completely different outcome, okay? And all of those changes I mentioned towards the end of the video, so stick around till the end and go ahead and work on those changes. So just a little reminder before we move forward with this week's technique. I've got a lovely members only area up on my YouTube. I've got 3 options available, and the second 2 give you exclusive videos on a monthly basis with one-to-one support. Now, if you just want to show your support and give me a little thank you for everything that I've taught you so far and will continue to teach you, I've got a show your support option as well, which will definitely make quite a bit of a difference to my business and help me grow and get more over to you. So do go check them out. It's through that simple join button below this video, and it will just take you to this world of lovely options. Okay, so this week's technique is quite an exciting one. I am clearly a little bit addicted to partial knitting at the moment. It's funny because this was one of the techniques that I found so difficult when I used to be a student, which was years and years ago, by the way. But I think it's one of those techniques that once you get the hang of it, of how it works, you get addicted to it and you kind of just want to try all these different ways of doing it. So anyway, I think it works well for you guys. So I just want to show you a slightly different way of using the technique, and it's to create loops on your knit, okay? Now, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of fringing. A lot of people tend to do it within their knit, but it happens on the back side of your knit or the side that's facing you, okay? And it's just through bits of yarn that you hang over. But this technique is basically loops that hang over, okay? They are strips of knit that hang over, but it's integrated in your knit, okay? So it's not added on, it's knitted within your swatch. So I thought it'd be quite an interesting one to show you, and I've done it quite imbalanced so you can kind of gain an understanding of, you know, that slight change that you can make to your swatch. And finally, if you are new here, please do remember to hit that subscribe button and share with all of your knit friends. Let's spread the word and let's get everyone on board. I just want to reach as many people as I can with my demos and all of my knowledge, so please do spread the word. Okay, so if you do have any questions regarding the demo or anything else, just pop them in the comments. And do remember to tag me on Instagram. I have seen some people tagging me, and I absolutely love to see your progress and what you do with the swatches I show you. So definitely give me a little shout out or just message me and I will repost and share it with the rest of my followers. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this demo. Again, let me know if you do have any questions or just want to say hello. Right, let's get started. So I've gone ahead and costed on about just under 30 needles and knitted a few rows in the mercerized cotton. So I'll be using 2 colours for this demo, okay, pink and white, just to make it slightly easier to demonstrate. Now we are going to be using partial knitting, okay? Now this is a technique that I have done quite a few videos on, so if you feel unsure about this, make sure you practice the very basic before you start this. Okay, so the first thing you want to do with partial knitting is, of course, move your holding cams to hold position, which is 1 on silver reed. Now on the silver reed, you've got the cams on the left and right hand side, so they've both got to be on 1, okay? One knits one way and the other knits the other way. If you are on brother, you've got to do it from normal to hold position, and it'll be on the left hand side of your carriage. Okay, so I've gone ahead and changed my cams to the the holds position and changed my color to white. Okay, so I'm going to be working in sets of 4 needles, but you can pick whatever number you like. Okay, now my carriage is on the right hand side of my machine, so in terms of your rules for partial knitting, okay, it is opposites. So I'm working on the first 4 needles, always start from the edge. Everything on the left hand side of those 4 needles get pushed forward onto hold position. Okay, and now we're going to knit on just these 4 needles, and I'm going to grab my trusty hanging weights. I love these, and I'm going to put my little rubber weight on it and just hang it just below where I'm going to be knitting. Now pick a number to knit your number of rows. 4. Make sure you keep moving these up. So I've knit 10 rows, and I'm going to be working with 14 rows. Okay, now I've knit 14 rows and my carriage is back on the right hand side, as you can see. Now we're going to move forward to the next 4 needles. Okay, now the next 4 get pushed slightly over to the back where the stitch lays just behind the latch, or to position C on your machine. Okay, knit 1 row, and now my carriage is on the left, so the right hand side needles can get pushed forward because the rule is opposites. Okay, so the first 4 needles get pushed forward and we are working on the next set. So we're working on individual strips, okay, and you'll see why. So I've knit my 1 row to the left. Now you've got to do 13 more. Remember to keep moving your weights up. Carriage is back on the right hand side, and then you've got your next 4 needles going slightly over to the back. Knit 1, and then the previous 4 come forward. And then the next 4. Okay, so you've got to continue doing so until you get right to the end. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done a whole section of this, as you can see, and you can see it's looking quite nice actually. So what we're going to do now is knit 1 normal row. Okay, make sure your cam gets pushed back to normal knit position, which is 1 to 2, and go ahead and knit 1 row across. Okay, at that point you could have knitted in any color, but again, you can experiment with this once you get the technique right. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm just going to take all my weights off my knit. I'm going to grab a single prong transfer tool, and I am going to lift these stitches up and hook it back onto the machine. Okay, now what you can do to make the process easier if you find it really hard to look at the stitches is, before you start doing the strip, to do 1 row of a slack row. Okay, so by slack row I mean a looser tension. Okay, so I should have really done that last row of pink in a slack course, but it's again not the end of the world. We can definitely pick these stitches up. So I'm going to, there's no wrong way of doing it. Okay, so I'm just going to go on that row of pink. Okay, instead of going on the last row, I'm going to go on the row below it because that's what I can see. So I'm just going to go and lift the stitch up and place it on the needle like so. Okay, so really it's actually quite simple. And again, I don't think you can actually do this technique wrong in regards to the lifting section of it, lifting part of it, sorry. But if you want to, again, make it easier, just make sure that you knit a slack row, I would say. You've just got to learn a few hacks when you start knitting. So what I'm going to do actually is I am going to only lift part of the knit, okay? So I'm only going to I'm only going to lift 1, 2, 3, 4 strips up, just so I could do like a slight variation of the technique I was actually going to show you. So you can of course lift all of this up to make it more consistent depending on your design. Now once you've done so, go ahead and hang your weights back on and you can just knit as normal. So I'm going to knit in the pink yarn, so I'm just going to swap my yarns over. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is actually repeat this, okay, above here, but in regards to my lifting, I'm going to lift the right hand side just so my fabric on my knit is even. So currently it's a bit lopsided because we've lifted half of it up and we've left the other half as it is, okay? So I'm going to reverse it and do the same thing up here to make it square. So this is the outcome of that swatch. Now I did sort of change it whilst I was demonstrating. The plan was to just show you these bits here in a straight line, but it isn't hard to learn a variation of it. So I really like the way it's turned out. And now it depends on how you use it. I would absolutely urge you to use different yarns, okay? What you can do is use different yarns in each of these sections. You can use elastic on the top and bottom row you can reduce the amount of rows that you do between each of these sections to make it a bit more heavy looking. So again, there's so many different ways you can experiment with this technique, and I really do hope you enjoy knitting this. If you've got any questions, let me know and I will see you next week. Bye.